Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, KGFL Creations. Today I want to do a pattern review on the Atenas denim jacket. It's called Atenas Jacket, which is the jacket that I made. I showed it to you last Friday sews. I finished it the weekend of Thanksgiving. That Saturday morning I finished this jacket. So I want to do a proper pattern review of this one because the first time I made this jacket, I did talk about a little bit, but I did not make a proper review of this pattern, which is a great pattern. So now let's start and talk about this pattern. I have my glasses because I need my glasses to read. I apologize if there's any glare as I raise my head. I'm pretty sure there's going to be glare because I have the one light here and another light right here because it is nighttime. As you guys know, I'm always in here at night. All right, let's talk. I'm gonna move this way so I can insert a couple of snippets that I get of the web. I'll put it right here. This is the Atenas Jacket by Itch to Stitch. It is a digital PDF pattern. You can get it online. Don't know how much it is right now. I purchased this about a year and a half ago. Could be on sale. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I am not sure. So let's get into it. Description of the pattern. The Atenas jacket is a classic denim jacket. Yes, it is a classic denim jacket. And she has a little snippet here. The denim jacket, as we know and love, was released by Levi Strauss in 1953. I did not know that. And since then, the denim jacket remains relatively unchanged. You can't get more timeless than that. It means once you make the Atenas jacket, you will wear the jacket for years and it will not go out of style. That is correct. The Atenas jacket has the classic details of a denim jacket, while you're welcome to implement each and every one of the details: chest pocket with flaps, single welt pockets, flat felled seams, and top stitching. You're also welcome to simplify and omit any of the details. Regardless of your preference, the pattern instructions will walk you through every step of the way, and it actually did. This was a pretty good pattern. Okay, features of this pattern. It has front double princess seam right here. There's the this little thing right here. That's the princess seam. Chest pockets with flap or the faux. I decided to put the actual pocket in. Front yoke, back yoke, optional single welt pocket, optional button side tab at the bottom. I didn't omit any of that. Slightly dropped shoulders. Yeah, it is a bit slightly dropped shoulder, just like a regular denim jacket, right? Two-piece sleeve. A functional sleeve vent with button cuff. And there's layer features so you can print the size that you need. The sizing of this pattern, it has 12 sizes from 00 to a size 20, with all the bust cup sizes from A all the way up to double D. It's not a very inclusive pattern. I think this is an older pattern. I think it's about maybe 5 or 6 years old. From the reviews that I saw online from Lifting Pins and Needles and Whitney and from some other ladies, I think they were like 5 years ago. So this is an older pattern. So maybe, I don't know if she's going to adjust this pattern to a bigger size range, because up to 20, yeah, that is a bit limited. And then she talks about how to choose your size. If you know how to choose if you're a bust cup A, B, C, D, or a double D. It gives all the body measurements for you to go through and to choose the size that you want. I cut a straight 18 at the top, 18 for the hip, for the waist, and 18 at the hip, because my hips fell in the 18. I did the B cup and it fell in there, so there's plenty of space here. And yeah, I am not constricted at all. And she gives all of the finished garment measurements as well. So when you choose your body measurements, you can see what the finished garment measurement is going to be. Let's talk about the materials. Primary fabric. She lists: use stable mid-weight woven fabric with the crisp drape. Denim, twill, broadcloth are great choices. Keep in mind that if you choose to use flat felt seams, the fabric can get quite thick. So choose your fabric accordingly if your sewing machine cannot handle thick layers. Wow, that is true, because it depends on what kind of finish you want. If you're going to do the flat felt, you have to do all the folding, and then it can get pretty thick. So if you're using a thick denim, that can be pretty thick. I used the faux flat felt seam, so it did not get too thick. She also talks about lining. Use a stable non-stretch woven. For the lining, quilting cotton is a great choice. The lining is for the pockets. Interfacing, use medium weight fusible interfacing or weft insertion interfacing. Never heard about that one, but I just use a regular interfacing that I purchased from Joann's. Now, other material. It calls for 14 jean buttons in the tool to install them, or 10 if you're omitting the side tabs, and top stitching thread. Now let's talk about the buttons. I bought a pack. Actually, when I purchased my buttons, I purchased it last time when I made my first Atenas jacket, the corduroy that I received also from the Think Pink subscription box. I purchased 2 little packages of buttons from Amazon. The package had 12 buttons. So I was able to put all 12 buttons, but at the tab here at the bottom, this little tab right here, this right here calls for 2 buttons on each side. But since I only had 12 buttons, I did not have 14 buttons in the package. So down here, I only used 1 button per side, and that was all the buttons that I had. I ended up with no buttons left over because, again, my package had 12 buttons. So if you do buy online from Amazon and you run into the only 12 buttons, you can do it just with the 12 buttons. You don't need the 14 buttons. Okay, fabric requirements. Most natural fabrics shrink in the wash, so be sure to have enough fabric. And you should wash your fabric. Of course, everybody talks about you should wash your fabric before you start anything. I washed this denim 3 times before I started this. And I have to wash it again because as I was sewing, my fingers were getting blue from the touching and going on this. My fingers and my nails, they would get blue. I would wash my hand after I finished working with this jacket, and the soap and the water would all be blue. So I have to wash it again. When I wash it again, I'll be sure to put a collar catcher. I did purchase a little box. I went to Walmart one day when I remembered to do that. The collar catcher, and I'll put 1 or 2 sheets of that thing in the wash so it will catch all of the blue from this one. Because this is a PDF pattern, there is printing instructions here, and there's some information about the layering. If you're not used to doing the layers with Adobe Acrobat and all that, there is some information in here of how to do that. Now it goes into fabric cutting instructions. This pattern has 19 pattern pieces, and there's one little pattern piece that it's not here, so it's technically 20. Because she does tell you, she did in some of the other pages back then, that you have to cut 2 out of the interfacing so you can put it right here on the pockets where you're going to put your button. You need to interface that. There's no pattern piece for that. So technically, I would say there are 20 pieces that you have to cut. It's a lot of pieces. There's this, you know, there's a lot of small pieces. There's a lot of pieces to this. And, but you know, as you keep track of all your little pieces, you should be fine. If you keep them together with the actual paper piece, you know, you should be good. You're not gonna lose anything. And there's information how to lengthen and shorten the pattern pieces if you need to. I didn't do that. And something that I do like about the itch to stitch patterns, because they're layout diagrams. Just like the big four, big five, whatever it is that we call it nowadays. I don't know how many are out there. Their pattern layout, so it shows you how to lay the patterns so you can maximize your fabric and not waste your fabric while you're cutting this whole thing here. So that is pretty nice. Something that I really like. Then she goes into the flat felled or a faux flat felled seam. She talks about that. There is a couple of links here for a photo tutorial of the flat felled seam and the faux flat felled seam. But there are a bunch of videos on YouTube that you can watch to see how to do a regular flat felled seam, a true flat felled seam, or just a faux one like I did. And also she talks about the top stitching. Use a longer stitch length to the top stitching so it's more visible. And there's a lot of talk in here about the top stitching, which is something that you really need to do the top stitching so it shows on the denim jacket. I think a denim jacket, that's the what it shows to be as a denim jacket is all that top stitching. So it's something that it's a must for a denim jacket. Now let's continue with this. There's a lot of instructions here. Now she talks about the sewing instructions, and she puts here, I'm gonna read it to you because this is important. At least I think it's important. For professional results, be sure to press your seams as you sew. It's really worth your time. And I agree with that 100%. It is worth your time to press it because you're going to do either the flat felled seam or the faux flat felled seam, and you really need to press as you go so you can do your top stitching. Transfer all the markings before you remove any pattern piece. You may choose to finish the seams by flat felled seam, faux flat felled seam, zigzag, or other method. The width of the seam allowances vary. Follow each step for details. That is something that I really did not like. And I'm not sure if she does this on all of her patterns. I did another pattern of another itch to stitch pattern, the Taroko skirt. I don't remember if there were different seam allowances, but this one here has a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance and a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Sometimes it's a 5/8, sometimes it's a 1/2 inch. It is very confusing. I prefer to have just one seam allowance all across. If it's 5/8, just make it 5/8 everywhere. If it's a 1/2 inch, make a 1/2 inch everywhere. You know, decide what you're gonna do. Just don't go back and forth. I think that's the problem that I had with the first jacket I made. I think maybe I made a mistake with the seam allowance, and then I had the problem with the cuff that it did not fit. I think that's what happened with that. So after all of the sewing instructions here, she has a little sewing instruction key, some little information here, and then we start. And there's a lot of steps here. Let me see. There are 100 steps to this pattern. A lot of steps, a lot of hand holding, but it's so very well explained. Everything, it's very, very well explained. there's no way that you're not going to be able to make this jacket. There's no way. I mean, I did the welt pocket. She does explain how to make it. But since I have watched a video by Mimi G when I made the denim jacket for my daughter, that unisex pattern, I watched that video. So every time I want to make a welt pocket, I go back to that video. That's a very good video for that portion to do the welt pocket. For that is a good video. Well, the fabric that I used, it's this denim. I got this denim from the Think Pink subscription box. No, I think it was number 32. Don't remember. If it's not 32, I'll put it down here. I don't remember how the weight of this denim. Maybe it was like a 9 ounce or something. It's not that heavy. It's not a thick denim. I think that's why I like it so much. It is very, very nice, and I really like this denim jacket. Came out really, really good. I think it came out much better than my first one that I made in that corduroy. That corduroy was very fuzzy, and I could not see the top stitching. So the top stitching, did all the top stitching, but I couldn't see it. So it was just, yeah, just kind of like a waste of time. Is this an easy pattern? I wouldn't say it's easy because of the welt pocket. The welt pocket is a little bit complicated to wrap your head around it for you to make the welt pocket, but once you make it once or twice, you should be good to go. So it is not easy. I would say an advanced beginner, maybe you can do this. There's a lot of pattern pieces. There's a lot of top stitching. You need patience to do all of this. This is not a quick sew. Not a quick sew at all. That's all I'm going to say. Not something that you're going to do it in one day. No, because there's a lot of sewing. There's a lot, at least for me, because I was not doing the original flat felled. So I would sew, and then I would have to go to the serger and serge the edges, and then go back to the machine to do the top stitching. And every time I do the top stitching, I would have to change the thread, the needle, and do all of that stuff. So that is not a quick sew, but I would say an advanced beginner. If you can do the welt pocket, watch a couple of the videos so you can do that. And the buttonholes. If you know how to do the buttonholes on your machine, you're good to go with this one. Did I have any problems with this pattern? No, I did not. I had no problems with this pattern. All the notches matched, no problem there. Nothing happened with the pattern. Everything that you needed to do, all the instructions, everything that the instruction tells you to do, just do it and you'll get there. All the pattern pieces matched, no problem there. Did I make any changes to the pattern? I would say no. I did cut the size 18, every single piece. Actually, no, I'm lying to you. Because I had the problem last time with the cuff, I did cut the cuff a little bit longer. I did not want to have the same problem that I had the last time, that I had to recut that piece. So I cut this pattern piece right here 1 inch longer, and I did the same thing for the waistband right here, just in case. You never know, you never know. So I did cut it a little bit longer, in the width, and then I just cut it, when it was time to sew, I just put it all in, and I just cut the excess fabric that I had. You never know. Sometimes, you learn with your mistakes. So that's the only thing I did, but it was not a problem of the pattern. It was my sewing in the last time. This time, there was no problem. The 1 inch that I added, that's pretty much what I cut from the cuffs here, and I had to throw that away. Same thing for the waistband. Now to the big question. Will I make this pattern again? And I would say, heck yes, I would make this pattern again. I really like this pattern. Like I said before, I have done a denim jacket for my daughter out of the Mimi G pattern. It's from the Big Four. It's a unisex. I had a lot of trouble with that pattern to fit her, but this one here fits really nice because it's a woman's pattern. The measurements are there for us, not just a regular unisex pattern. The shoulder was way down because it was unisex. This one came out really, really nice. Hopefully I can make one for my daughter. I don't know if I'll be able to because her hips are a little bit wider than mine. I don't know if the size 20 will be enough to make a denim jacket for her, but I would make another one for me. Perhaps in another fabric, a lighter fabric for the spring, maybe. Doesn't have to be only for winter, right? Actually, for my winter here, a denim jacket or a corduroy jacket with a, you know, a t-shirt underneath, it's just okay. But yes, I would make this pattern. Again, it is a great pattern, and I do suggest that if you're looking for a pattern, a denim jacket pattern, go to Itch to Stitch. I am sure you will love this pattern as much as I do. If you guys have any questions, just put them in the comments below, okay? And I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And if you liked this video, please hit that like button below. And if you can also subscribe, it will mean a lot to me. I will see you on the next one. Happy sewing, everybody. Bye.